Hello, everybody. This is Catholic Dad, episode number 94. Why are men pathetic? When I say why are men are pathetic, let me explain myself. I'm a physician, and I do approximately 1,000 to 2,000 interventional procedures on people a year. And invariably, always the man, or always the weakest of my patients, the ones that are afraid of needles, that need the most sedation, that need the most lidocaine, that cringe the most, it's invariably always men. And it's the 35-year-old trucker, it's the 40-year-old lumberjack, it's the construction worker. And they always shy away from needles and they always cringe. And usually I look them in the eye and I say, I just did this procedure on a 10-year-old girl. And she took it a lot better than you are. And usually that gets them through it. And, it's an appropriate challenge. But I must say, why are men pathetic? Why are they kind of weak and, cowards when it comes to medical procedures or pretty much anything in life for that matter? Let me explain a little further. And to explain, we have to talk about the vice of effeminacy. Vice of effeminacy is what Thomas Aquinas described as the disordered attachment to pleasure, meaning the men don't like to do the hard things, but they attach themselves to pleasing things and easy things. And whenever anything's quite difficult, like say a medical procedure or a surgical intervention, they get really nervous and they shy away from it. This is kind of like sloth. Sloth is the aversion to what is difficult. That's a little bit different. I want you to pray and meditate over that. But so why are men pathetic? It's because they suffer from a vice called effeminacy. And where did they get this from? Well, they got this from the Garden of Eden, right? This is the fallen nature of man. And if you remember, and I've talked about this before, but Eve's in the garden. And, the serpent comes to Eve because she's inclined to emotion, and the serpent's able to use her emotions to convince her to defy the will of God. And so she defies the will of God, and the first thing is she doesn't want to be alone. So what does she do? She goes to her husband, Adam, and she convinces him to come with her. And she convinces him to eat the apple. So she says, Adam, come on, eat the apple. And he has a choice to make at that point in time. Either, follow the will of God or to follow his wife and be pleasing to his wife. And what does he say? He says, yes, dear. And so at that moment, he was inclined to doing what is the easier way, not following the will of God, not being the leader, but succumbing to the will of his wife and making her happy and pleasing her and taking the easy way out. That's why men shy. That's why men are pathetic. That's why they're cowards. That's why they're weak. That's why, all the fallen nature of man is everything a man shouldn't be. And so what does a man have to do to shy away from the vice of effeminacy and the vice of sloth and come towards the opposite, the vice of fortitude? What is fortitude? It's not the vice, the virtue of fortitude. Doing things that are hard, difficult tasks even when you don't want to. That's like what soldiers do. They charge into battle and they take bullets for other people and they give their lives. That's the virtue of fortitude. And so what you need to do as a man is you need to go away from things that are easy and go towards things that are difficult. And we need to habituate this behavior in all young men and even young women as well. But men need to be the master at this because typically their fallen nature is so pathetic that they need to master the difficult task, because that's what it is to be a dad. That's what it is to be a father, to do things against what you want to do for the good of others. That's what being a father is. In some ways that's what being a mother is, but more so with being a father. And so what you need to do is you need to habituate yourself to doing hard, difficult tasks. What is hard? Fasting's hard. Giving up food, denying your lower appetites so when you have temptation, that's hard. Chastity's hard. Denying yourself that, or being chaste with just your wife, that's difficult and that's hard. And then prayer is hard. Now, a lot of people don't think prayer is hard. Oh, you just say a prayer and you're good and everything's good with Jesus. But prayer is hard. It's difficult. And so when you pray, I'll challenge you, if you don't think it's hard, pray 5 decades of the rosary for 10 straight days. Do that. And then see how you do. Because it's not easy to do such things, and you need to habituate that behavior. And so men, to get away from your vice of effeminacy and work towards fortitude and towards being a man and not being pathetic, being courageous, you need to fast, you need to be chaste, and you need to pray. That's what you need to do. And then you could throw your shoulders back and do manly things with it. But it's only when you get command of your lower appetites, your laziness and your attachment to what is pleasurable, when you can actually step up and do great things. Pope Benedict XVI said, the world will offer you comfort. That's your pleasure point, right? The world will offer you comfort, but we were not made for comfort. We were made for greatness. Therefore, when you're called upon to do great things, you're called upon to do hard, difficult things. So men, to habituate your behavior, to become men and become less pathetic, you need to pray, you need to fast, and you need to be chaste. These things are not negotiable at all. And if you look at me and you think I'm silly, well, then you're of this world. You don't want to be of this world. You want to be of the Lord's world. You want to be different than this world. You want to set yourself apart from this world. You want to be courageous, and you want to be a beacon of light for everybody around you. And only then, only when you master those three things, can you then work on being a virtuous husband and father. So this is Catholic Dad. Just asking you to think about it, pray about it, go to Mass, say a daily rosary, go to confession. God bless you all, and take care and have a good night.